Be honest, human error is a leading cause of medical mistakes. Doctors get tired, distracted, or emotionally affected. AI doesn't. In fact, nearly 80% of medical responses generated by ChatGPT were rated better than those of your doctors. Both equality, 78% versus 22%, and empathy, 45% versus 4.6% in humans. That means that patients aren't just getting more accurate responses. They're getting responses that feel more compassionate and understandable. Isn't that what healthcare should be? So in conclusion, this is not about technology for technology's sake. It is about prioritizing what delivers the best patient outcomes. When a machine is faster, more precise, and better at communicating than a human, it becomes unethical to deny patients access to that level of care. Thank you.
Next we will take to the opposition. Please wait the room to crowd up. Okay, and you may now commence with the now.
Dear panel, we must firstly look at what does replace actually means. They have yet to define this word in a clear way. They say, oh, we are not just going to augment doctors. Then what are we going to do by replacing them? In replacing them, they are suggesting that we use this AI in place of doctors. That means doctors do not have control over what is actually administered to their patient. They agreed and accepted this in their first speech. Firstly, I would like to say that by them saying AI are not affected by emotional needs. That is exactly why this is a problematic. Because it is exactly the people that understand each other the best. The best patient outcome is defined by who? How are they going to say that this best patient outcome is actually objective? The best patient outcome is not always objective, right? In terminal illness patients, even if we can cure them, even if they are rid of their illnesses, but they may be deaf, for example, this may not be the the subjective best for them. This is exactly why AI should not have the sole responsibility of actually handling patients, because people can understand people better than AI can understand AI. They stated a fact that, oh, AI may sound more empathetic, but this is only limited to cases that are routine. We see a lot of doctors in different cases. We see oncology doctors who have to emphasize and empathize with the patients that have different goals and different understanding of their life. We cannot just use a one-size-fits-all AI model that is trained across the board by using random people information from different society, because each society have their own ethical and cultural acceptance, right? And by this, we also see that AI may have a lot of racial bias. That is, they choose to treat patients that are economically better or maybe white against patients that are of other racial classes. And this is problematic because they are trying to push equality and equitability. Unlike humans, humans may also have this bias, but then this bias can be corrected by other people. But from AI perspective, it is a black box problem. We see that in AI there's a thing called black box problem, which is a problem that we cannot know how AI thinks. We only see the input and the output of the AI results. The decision may be correct, but the derivation of that decision, if it is incorrect, it could lead to other problems. For my second point is on AI creativity. AI can only diagnose things based on existing problems, right? If we let AI do the diagnosis, well then AI can only answer the problems or the disease that has been researched before. But then if this patient has a unique disease, who are going to take care of this patient when this AI doesn't even have the information in the first place? Humans have more flexibility in this regard. Lastly, I would like to tell you that humans are going to be in the loop. We believe that humans should be augmented by this decision that AI can help diagnose. Maybe AI have shown to be better in diagnosing radiography images, and we agree with that. But then it doesn't justify just replacing humans with AI completely. We beg your understanding that it is not enough to have AI handle this alone. For all this, open insight. Thank you.
Okay, next will be our proposition's turn, and if you're prepared, then please start now.
The proposition team has made a lot of great points that we are going to address. Doctors, we are going to address this in the speech of another speaker. But for now, we're going to get our points across. The leader of our team has already shown to you that ethical necessity of using the most effective tools when patient lives are on the line. Patient lives are on the line. My job today is to demonstrate with real-world examples and evidence the autonomous technology already outperforms human physicians in several key domains: speed, precision, accessibility, and communication. Let's begin with speed and precision. In 2024, Boston-based company Perceptive Technology developed a fully autonomous dental robot that Sir has mentioned, that didn't need just assist a human dentist, it replaced one. The robot used a handheld 3D volumetric scanner tomography to build a detailed image of the inside of patient's mouth, including soft tissues and nerves. Then it performed an entire dental procedure on a human patient 8 times faster than a human dentist could. Even under movement-heavy conditions. This isn't science fiction, it's reality. This technology works more efficiently, more precisely, and more safely than any single dentist. When AI performs procedures like these faster with less error, how can we argue it shouldn't be allowed to take the lead? Now let's talk about access. Across the world, healthcare systems are buckling under weight of limited resources, aging population, and chronic staff shortages, long wait times, and more than inconvenient. They're dangerous. But AI is helping solve this problem, not by replacing people in hospitals alone, but extending healthcare beyond clinic walls. According to the World Economic Forum, we are entering a new age of smart diagnostic technology that helps people monitor their own health from home, detect illnesses earlier, and manage chronic conditions more effectively. Without a doctor being physically present, AI enables earlier interventions, prevents hospital overcrowding, and brings care to those in rural or underserved communities. It fills the gaps humans cannot. Let's move to communication and clarity. You might think a robot or a machine couldn't possibly explain advice better than a trained doctor, but the numbers say otherwise. In the study that my leader has mentioned before, ChatGPT has outclassed physicians in giving dental diagnosis. What does this mean for patients? It means fewer misunderstandings, more comprehensive answers, and ultimately greater confidence and trust in healthcare. Fourthly, and perhaps most critically, AI reduces human errors. Doctors are compassionate, yes, but also fallible. Fatigue, distractions, even unconscious bias can lead to life-threatening mistakes. AI, once validated and trained, works without fatigue and applies evidence-based rules consistently every single time. The same perceptive dental robot. Can it detect subsurface nerves invisible to human sight? It can detect subsurface nerves invisible to human sight. It never skips a safety step. It never rushes early to finish early. In short, AI brings standardization, and in healthcare, that means safety. Now let's address the opposition's likely argument. But what if AI fails? My response is that what if humans fail? They already do. In fact, errors account for thousands of preventable deaths every year. If an AI tool has been statistically proven to outperform humans in specific areas, then it is more ethical to use it than not to. To conclude, let me be clear. This motion does not call for removing doctors from all healthcare settings. It only calls for replacement in domains where evidence proves AI does better. We are not replacing humans for the sake of it. We are just elevating healthcare for everyone.
And now it's turn for the opposition to address the arguments. And if you are ready, we may start now.
The proposition team may claim that AI can lead into better outcome or more accuracy, but that medical success is about more than accuracy. The proposition fails to assume that the success rate is the only meaningful metric. Medicine also values ethics, communications, consent, comfort, and patient experience. In palliative care, mental health, pediatrics, and geriatrics, where compassion and ethical judgment matter most, the human element often determines the success of care, not diagnostic accuracy. Medicine is not engineering. Human connection is not optional. A better outcome without trust is still a worse experience. According to a Pew Research, public trust in medical AI, a 2022 Pew Research survey found 60% of Americans would not want AI deciding their treatment, even if it were more accurate, due to concern about empathy, consent, and emotional support. And more than that, systematic failures and AI fragility are not hypothetical, they are real. Even proven systems can fail due to software bugs, cyber attacks, or edge case scenarios not accounting for in training. Autonomous systems may be efficient, but they are fragile. Doctors don't crash, algorithms can and do. For example, in 2022, a robot-assisted surgery system misidentified a blood vessel, leading to a fatal hemorrhage. The AI's training data did not include that vascular anomaly. And for another example, in Germany, a hospital ransomware attack in 2022 shut down IT system, delaying care for a stroke patient who died and moved to another facility. The first recorded fatality from a cyber attack in healthcare. More than that, replacing human risks de-skilling and oversight loss. The moment we replace rather than augment healthcare workers, we risk degrading the entire system resilience. If we replace physicians instead of empowering them, we build a system that may collapse under novel or emergency conditions. Doctor learns, reason, and evolve. A fully autonomous system does not learn independently outside structured retraining cycles. For example, a BMJ AI de-skilling risk, a BMJ health informatics study show that over-reliance on clinical AI tool leads to de-skilling among younger clinicians, reducing their ability to diagnose, assess risk, or patient flow data. And it's kind of about ethical principle and not conditional or efficiency. The proposition may claim that if AI leads to better health outcome, it's ethically justifiable to replace doctor. But this assumes a utilitarian, where the greater goods, for example, better statistical outcomes override individual rights, patient consents, and human dignity. That's ethical flow. Ethical rights do not disappear because statistics improve. Informed consent can be fulfilled by a machine, and patients should never be forced to surrender their agency just because a tool might be more accurate. A case study from the one report, they say that the foundation of modern medical ethics establish respect for persons as non-negotiable, including autonomy and the right to make informed decisions with a trust human provider. Now, technology cannot solve its own biases or ethical gaps. You can say that we can solve AI bias and ethical concerns through better data and oversight, but that's optimistic. But demonstrably fell in today's system. Bias is baked into how healthcare data is generated and oversight mechanism and currently inadequate. AI cannot fix the system in inheritance. Without human judgment, bias is automated, not eliminated. A science study in 2019 explored how AI used in hospital to manage millions of patients significant underestimated Black patients health need due to bias cost matrix. Thank you.
And now, first speaker from the opposition team. And 5 minutes starts now.
Good morning, Madam or Mr. Chair, esteemed judges and fellow debaters. We have heard from our leader and speaker about the clinical precision, speed, and operational efficiency of autonomous technologies. But the opposition team is likely to retreat that they think the strongest stronghold is empathy. Doctors and nurses care, they will say. AI can't feel, they insist. But today, I'm here to challenge that outdated assumption head on. Because the real question isn't whether AI has emotion. The real question is, do patients feel understood, supported, and emotionally safe when they receive care from autonomous technology? And based on the data, the answer is increasingly yes. Let's begin with the most compelling evidence we have in large-scale, peer-reviewed study comparing physician and AI-generated response to real patient questions. ChatGPT was rated as empathetic or very empathetic. In 45% of responses, physicians, by contrast, were rated as empathetic in just 4.6% of the cases. That's not a small gap. It's nearly 10-fold increase in perceived empathy from a machine. This is a wake-up call. It shows that AI is not emotionally empty. It is emotionally effective. Why? Because it is trained not solely to provide accurate information, but to deliver that information calmly, patiently, and clearly. AI is never dismissive. It doesn't rush to answer. It doesn't let exhaustion, stress, or personal biases compromise the quality of care. In that same study, AI answered 211 words, while human physician gave answers averaging only 52 words. This matters. Those extra words are not filler, they're comfort. They're explanation, reassurance, and compassion translated into language. Let me be crystal clear. Empathy is not about being human. It's about being humane. If AI can deliver the experience of feeling cared for, listened to, and supported, then it is providing what patient needs most. Now, some might say, but that empathy isn't real, it's simulated. But let's unpack that. When you're in pain, when you're scared, when you're trying to understand a threatening diagnosis, does it matter whether your comfort comes from human or a machine, as long as it makes you feel better? The truth is that perceived empathy is what drives outcome. Patients who feel supported are most likely to follow treatment plans, disclose relevant symptoms, and recover better. And if AI is doing that better than humans in many contexts, then it is fulfilling the role of empathy was meant to serve. Moreover, AI is now extending that sense of support 24/7 through wearable technologies, smart diagnostic tools, and home integrated applications. Patients are receiving real-time guidance and comfort, something that no doctor or nurses, no matter how dedicated, can provide around the clock. According to the World Economic Forum, this shift toward continuous AI-enabled healthcare is already underway. Their 2023 reports confirm that diagnostic technologies or health monitoring tools are helping people detect illness earlier, monitor chronic condition, and feel more connected to care system, all outside of traditional hospital and clinics. In a sense, AI is not just replacing limited human interactions. It is expanding in scale, availability, and consistency of compassionate care. Now, let's ignore the philosophical concerns. Some might argue that true empathy requires the ability to feel for another person's emotion. But that's a definition rooted in theory, not patient experience. In healthcare, what matters is not whether a human feels your pain, but whether you feel seen, heard, or supported. And AI is providing statically and practically that to do exactly that. Next, we cannot ignore burnout. Across the world, doctors and nurses are overwhelmed. They are under immense pressure, and no matter how kind-hearted they are, the exhaustion seep into their communication. It leads to impatience, miscommunication, or even avoidance. AI, by contrast, never loses its temper. It doesn't take badly out on the patient. It doesn't cut explanation short because it's behind schedule. It always listens. Let me finish by reminding us of what truly at the sale of this debate. This isn't about jobs, it's about outcomes. It's about making sure people get the best care possible, emotionally and medically. And right now, in many scenarios, the care is delivered by AI, better by AI than human. So no, we're not removing empathy from medicine. We're redefining and expanding it. AI is making healthcare more inclusive, more accessible, and more emotionally responsive, not less. Let's not cling to tradition for its own sake. Let's embrace what's worked for the patient who needs us most. Thank you.
Now, please, session. If you are ready, you may start now.
I'll be highlighting the false claim that AI ensures more accessible and rewarding healthcare services to all of the population. First, let's tackle the real question. Who can actually afford healthcare AI? Although AI promises affordability in practice, its implementation in homes often requires smart devices, internet access, and technical literacy, which many vulnerable populations lack. If access to effective home care depends on expensive devices and fast Wi-Fi, then AI doesn't democratize healthcare, it privileges the already connected. And on top of this, it clears the issue of digital illiteracy. In the UK, a Lloyds Bank UK Consumer Digital Index indicated that 11.9 million people lacked basic digital skills, and 2.6 were still completely offline. Furthermore, 20.5 million people had low digital engagement. These figures highlight that a significant portion of the population will struggle to engage with digital healthcare solutions. Now, data privacy and surveillance risk. Bringing AI into private households increases the risk of data misuse, commercial exploitation, and cyber attacks. Patients may unknowingly expose their most intimate health information through continuous device usage. Your home should not be a sanctuary, not a surveillance node for corporations. The regulatory framework is lagging far behind AI capabilities. Now, for algorithmic bias and mistrust of AI diagnosis, even when AI works technically, it may not work equitably. Models trained on incomplete or biased datasets often underperform on marginalized populations, leading to inaccurate assessments, inappropriate triage, and untrustworthy advice. Bias in AI isn't just a technical glitch, it's a structural issue. If AI is trained on the wrong data, it will reinforce the wrong outcomes at scale. For the high cost to set up telemedicine and to set up internet in these remote areas, the high cost associated with these infrastructure, especially in remote and rural areas, including the expense of reliable internet connectivity, would divert critical resources that could otherwise be used to directly improve in-person healthcare access. Achieving universal, affordable, and good quality internet access globally requires an estimated $418 billion US. This substantial figure demonstrates the immense financial commitment required just for basic digital connectivity. Now, for the erosion of patient-doctor relationship, over-reliance on accelerated healthcare digitalization risks deeper personalizing care and eroding the crucial patient-doctor relationship, which is built on trust, empathy, and direct interaction. The integration of direct digital health is reshaping the patient-doctor relationship by challenging its core principles of trust, knowledge, empathy, care, and continuity. How can a patient trust a doctor when they've never even met the doctor in real life? Digital tools like telemedicine and mobile apps require reliable internet devices and technical skills. However, low-income groups, rural communities often lack these resources. For example, elderly patients may struggle to use telehealth platforms due to limited digital literacy, while low-income individuals might not be able to afford Wi-Fi or smartphones. This further creates and amplifies and intensifies the gap where privileged groups benefit from digital healthcare, while the disadvantaged population faces more barriers. While telemedicine can be an effective solution for certain follow-ups or simple consultations, it inherently lacks the comprehensive physical examination capabilities crucial for accurate primary care diagnosis. Virtual appointments limited the type and accuracy of medical assessments that can be performed, which may lead to misdiagnosis. Misdiagnosis can also occur due to inadequate technology, video labs, or audio cutting out, leading to miscommunication between the doctor and the patient. This is particularly relevant in developing countries like Thailand, where consistent high-quality internet infrastructure may not be universally available. Lastly, telemedicine cannot fully replace traditional in-person medical examinations and diagnostic tests because remote consultations rely heavily on the patient's self-reporting and self-remote monitoring, which may not always provide the accurate information necessary for proper diagnosis or treatment. Because no one has enough knowledge to properly diagnose himself, because that is the job of the doctor. And how can the doctor fully achieve this role while not being in person together? This limitation could lead to misdiagnosis and inadequate treatment plans. Thank you.
Okay, please wait for about 2 seconds. And now wait the last 5 minutes for the proposition team. If you are ready, please start now.
I truly understand your statement saying that human understands more, but let me ask you, if you are in an emergency surgery, would you prefer human where higher chance of mistakes will be made, have limited time, slower, and might not be able to explain information fully, or AI, where they are faster, more empathetic, and more accurate? As I have said in my own speeches, it is more developed and can explain more clearly. The benefits outweighs the human relationship, right? You mentioned about unique diseases. If AI doesn't know due to no research, now let me ask you back. How will physicians know? How can he be sure about this unique disease or how to treat them if no researchers are found anyways? Medical success is more than just an accuracy. What if human diagnose a patient wrongly? Then now accuracy is the most important to success, right? There is no point in having human-to-human relationship or human empathy if there are errors in treatments. If the sickness is not cured, then would it still be possible if humans are still better than AI when treating patients? Now, even though AI can inherit bias, it can be programmed to audit and remove any detected bias, which would otherwise go undetected in the human subconscious. Human decision making, even with the best of intentions, is always deeply shaped by unconscious bias. Now, you mentioned about not everyone being able to afford AI household cares, and I fully understand that, but that is where the government's funding is needed to work more on instead of spending on humans. What I mean is subsidy can be applied to reduce the production cost, which will cause the demand curve to shift right, and finally lowering down the price, making them more accessible. Now, for the leader of the opposition team, you have said that doctors have no control, right, if AIs were to replace them completely. We have explicitly said multiple times that AI is used only for procedures it can do better, and AI is not affected by any emotional needs. This means that statistics says otherwise, right? As I've said, AI can have more empathy than humans. And you also said that the best objective outcome of a disease. Would you want to stick to ethical guidelines instead? Because every patient vary, and AI is adaptive. It is by no means a one-fit-all approach. It is even more adaptive than some doctors. You're also saying that the means justify the ends, right? As long as the patient receives no harm, your argument is invalidated. Patients come to doctors to get better. Now, for the first speaker, ethics and communication is already proven to be achievable in AI. Your way of thinking and argument is outdated. Please remember, it is adaptive. AI is adaptive, and it can improve almost limitlessly. Compared to training data of AI algorithms, do you think that training a doctor with 20 years of experience from the ground up is more efficient? This undoubtedly consumes more resource, right, when you are training a whole person. Furthermore, if AI can enhance doctors to lead for better outcomes, how can it be ignoring your arguments? Have you forgotten one of the medical pillars to do no harm? AI can detect its own bias, of course, using additional algorithms that I've said before. This has already been under development and is currently in use in some models. Therefore, your argument has been invalidated by the fact that you have underestimated machine learning. Now, for the second speaker, you have mentioned digital literacy, right? It is already a persisting problem, so how do you propose to fix this? If we could fix this, we could have done it years ago. You have explicitly said that AI can and will explain better than humans, as my second speaker said. So this would, in fact, improve digital literacy. And furthermore, you also said that wrong data is not the issue. Wrong data can be inputted into AI, right? And then that it can make wrong decisions. It is not the issue at hand. And then this can be regulated with data inputted by healthcare professionals, with doctors being the one inputting data instead, right? And if the data is still wrong, does that mean that doctors are wrong? Wouldn't this contradict with your statement? And for example, right, for accessibility, ChatGPT, we all use it, whether it be for homework, for exams, studying. How can you still deny that AI is inaccessible to people? If we can do the same for healthcare AI, the same for ChatGPT that we did, everyone can have a safe and monitoring AI in their homes, right, to monitor their chronic illnesses. Then wouldn't that be better? Thank you.
Now the final 5 minutes for this debate, we'll go through the opposition. And if you are ready, you may start now.
Dear panel, they have interpreted the statistic very simply. They try to use only one statistic all over their case. They use this AI, this study on ChatGPT answers, right? But then we can provide you a lot of information that this is not true at all. Firstly, let's start with bias in the AI thinking, right? They say that AI can correct itself, and even if they are biased in the first place, then we can still use other algorithms to fix this. A study in the Journal of American Medical Associations have provided that even after restructuring the entire AI, this structural bias still exists. They have to prove that they have the means to help with this. They have yet to prove that. They lose on the first point. Secondly, they talk about like unique researches. If there are no research, how can doctor know if this is a new disease? And AI couldn't know. Why wouldn't AI know? Why should AI know? AI are fixated on existing information. They cannot provide research. They cannot conduct research on their own. But from professionals in the medical field, when they encounter something that they don't know, they ask others, they go and do research. The AI fails at this. The AI doesn't know how to assess its own confidence in that problem, right? They don't know how much of this am I going to be right. Human can feel like, oh, I'm not so sure about this. Let's consult with another medical professionals. But AI fails to do this. Secondly, next on is that they say, oh, we can have AI apps in remote conditions. My second speaker have provided to you that this AI app wouldn't likely be inaccessible to people in remote conditions anyway, because they don't have access to the basic infrastructure that we need, and setting up this infrastructure is very expensive in this own regard. But then even if they can have access to this AI, that's not the point of the debate. Physicians and nurses aren't at people's home all the time. This AI is an additional thing that we can use. This AI is what we use to augment physician and healthcare. In general, they fail to prove why are they debating on the motion. We can have AI apps prove without violating the motion itself. Right? And next one is on hallucination. That is, we already provided to you that AI can hallucinate. They are not always confident, and even if they are not always confident in this, we see that there are cases of AI misidentifying a nerve and even cut it in the process. They cannot always confirm that this AI are going to be infallible to this problem, and by that we ask further who take the responsibility of these AI failures. They have yet to address this. If they are replacing entirely the AI, no one are going to take responsibility, and this erodes trust in the process. People will not trust a system that cannot be regulated, that cannot be retributed the harms, right? For doctors, if doctor knowingly commit something that is bad for the patients, then they are on the ethics committee. They can go on and have to be investigated in the process. And by this, we say that it is much better for these doctors to have something to stop them from doing unethical things, unlike AI, which may only take it and go for its utilitarian goals, that is, to solve this problem without actually caring for the patients. They fail to address this too. But then lastly, my second and first speaker have told you about system failure. They have yet to engage with this. If sometimes maybe like the lights are out, now what do AIs do? Now physicians aren't trained in this anymore because we exactly replace it. We do not have any more incentive for physicians to become this kind of physician, right? If they say, oh, they are going to replace dentists with this, why do people want to become dentists if it is so hard to find a job in dentistry? It is exactly the system failure that if someone gain access to this system, it would be very problematic in the long and short run in this sense. For all this, opposite side, thank you.
That concludes the argument, and now we're moving on to the comments and feedbacks from our judge. เรียนเชิญอาจารย์ที่คอมเมนต์ feedback ครับ
Okay. I just want to say, wow, wow for both teams. You are oh wonderful. You are awesome. I like the. Can I say in overall, not specific to any team. I like the thing that you stress. I will try to explain the topic about how what does it mean by using AI to replace medical care, something like that. And you both did correct in this area, and both of you work in team from the morning session. For some pairs, I recognize, I noticed something that some just some was here just for reading out to audience. That is not you. You talk to us. You engage us. You engage your audience in your talk, which is very good. And both team, I noticed that when some of you stand out to speak, another team notice, take note, and work with your team in responding to the arguments, to the point that that one is speaking. So this is a true debate, not just talk to audience, which is great. And I don't know who would be the winner for this pair, but both teams, you are great, you are wonderful, and you know I'm much older than you. I'm Generation X, but for me, I feel that I have hope in you, in new generation, and thank you so much for this. You are superb.
Okay, for me, I appreciate both of you. Specifically, I know you've done a lot of research. We're talking about like 10 or 20 research that you are take your time with it, and I really appreciate it. We as in the science part, we love research, and the other thing that I would love is you do general debates. As Dr. Mayuri says, you try to convince as if the opponent of you show some weak point, you take it. You don't lose it. uh, you both stand on your ground. You support together. You work as team as well, both of you. I think it's a great debate, and for me, I took I judge based on I know nothing, and I believe both of you. You can convince me to believe both of you. They have many points and many reasons that it will be great, and I think as Dr. Lee says, it's a new hope. I would like to have a new. If you want, if you have, if you want to be a new physician, it would be great for our country. Yeah, I know many things, and yeah, you take the opponent's point, you would show your research, you take the strong base, and you define the topic in your way that can believe as me as just can believe both of you that yeah, I don't know who gonna win, but you both will get. Thank you.
Thank you, our judge, and corporate and the debate has now ended. And okay, we will deliver the score shortly, and it might not be very short. Okay, but now please rise and clap for lunch, and wish you all good luck.
Thank you so much for the debate.